How's it going, everyone? So I made an impulsive purchase. Actually, it's an impulsive pre-order. This video is going to be about the 30th anniversary edition Mazda MX-5 Miata. So before we go on, I'm going to kind of just give you guys a quick update on the golfr. Currently has about 29,000 and change, and 29,400 exactly right after I got back from work. I recently got back from the dealership, same dealership that I got the car from. I went ahead and did the 30K servicing. That included like the Haldex flush, brake flush, oil change, and just topping off the fluid, the coolant, windshield washer fluid, and just tire inspection and all that. But before we move on, I just want to talk about how crazy this car is. It's been on my mind for quite some time, ever since I did the pre-order. Most of it is whether or not I want to go ahead and trade in the R, whether or not I'll regret, whether or not it's going to take a hit on practicality, which it definitely will. But let's go dive right into it. This is the Mazda Miata recording screen right now. Okay, so I am in the official 30th anniversary Miata.com website, and as you can tell, globally it's going to be limited to 3,500 in US, but the US actually got 143 extra allocation units, which brings it up to about 643, I think. And what the Mazda Miata actually includes are custom wheels, or not really custom, the rays, right, 17 inches, heated Recaros. The Recaros are available for the Club Sport, or for the Club Miata, the Club trim, at an additional 4,000 USD. Moving on, you got your 30th anniversary engraving on the side of the rim. These are the gunmetal finish for the, I'm not quite sure which model it is for the rays, but you got your racing orange trim along the AC vents, along the door trims, Alcantara all the way around. Your limited edition badging, right, numbered for each car. I ordered the retractable fastpack, the RF. The ND itself is more aggressive than the previous generation, but the RF, when it came out, when it launched, definitely was the go-to vehicle, or the go-to affordable convertible, for me at least. I think this color itself is really nice and really cool on Mazda's end to go ahead and give us an affordable convertible like this. The BBS package with the Recaro seats is only available for the Club, from how I gathered from when I did my research. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's $1,000 cheaper if I went for the Grand Touring, right? And if I went for the all leather Napa, I believe it might not be Napa leather, but this brown interior with the machine gray finish exterior is what I would have gone for if I were to get a Miata. But once the racing orange came out, I definitely think it is a color for the car, because it is striking. It is something for a sports car that, you know, only a sports car could rock, right? But my next tab would be the Mazda retractable fastback club spec. Club spec meaning it doesn't have all the features that the Grand Touring has. Like, I think it was like the lane departure warning, right? This is okay, so this is everything that the Grand Touring, the GT model, does have. Auto on-off headlight, rain sensing windshield, and all that. Auto climate control, auto dimming rear view mirror, navigation, high beam control, adaptive front lighting system, lane departure warning, and all that. So the Club features everything else. So, which brings me back to the point where I do have a sticker. Credit goes to the forum. This is the window sticker. Something about something that the forum brought up is whether or not the 30AE has the LSD with it, because as you can tell, I don't think the limited slip differential is included in the list of standard features. But basically, this 30AE edition is the Grand Touring trim with the availability of the BBS package. So you got your Brembo BBS Recaro package, right? That's an additional for almost 5K, right? If you were to go ahead and spec it out, it's going to be about the same price. But if you were to spec it out with the Club RF, you're missing out on a lot of the Grand Touring trim. So I think when it comes down to it, the RF 30AE edition is, I wouldn't say a bargain, but it includes a lot of the Grand Touring, but gives you the performance factor of something that you won't be able to get on a regular Miata, because you have to decide between the Club and the Grand Touring, the GT model. But taking a look at this car, it's amazing in terms of the color. Just check out how it pops. Excuse the lag, but here's interior. It's Alcantara all around. You got your auto HVAC controls. The only thing about the Alcantara is the fact that it's harder to keep clean versus, you could just wipe leather and just maintain everything. But it most likely will stay cooler during the summer because the leather won't get as hot. But you can see that it has a racing orange piping on the seats, right? You got your Bose stereo surround on the headrests. This is a really nice car, especially look at the profile. I really think it's aggressive. Even the rear of the vehicle, it kind of reminds me of a Jaguar, the F-Type. I don't know, moving on, I just want to kind of hit up the pros and cons, or whether or not I want to go and make this move. And right in front of me are pros and cons that I've written down. But it's just amazing, this vehicle. Like, if you take a look at the rear of the vehicle, it is a really nice car. It may not be the fastest, all right? It is the ND2, so they got the bumping horsepower, the 181, the 7.5 redline, which brings you close to S2K territory. So that really intrigues me as well. The 9K for the AP1, the 8.2 for the AP2. This Miata, after the whole engine revamp, it really brings it closer to the S2000 territory. So I'm really interested in terms of test driving it. I definitely will go ahead and see if I could test drive the vehicle, because honestly I haven't test driven the Miata at all. So that's something on my to-do list before the car arrives in port. But moving on, we're going to talk about the pros of getting the Miata. And one of the pros is jumping back into a stick shift. I know in the past I talked about what was it? I talked about having to deal with the Mark 6 clutch of my golfr because it kept dying on me, and how I wouldn't mind jumping into a DSG tranny. And what happened was I actually went about to doing so. And ever since, I owned the vehicle for two years, 2 summers, I find myself missing driving stick, missing having a weekend car, and that proves to you how much of a gap the S2K left after I sold it a summer ago, or exactly 1 year ago. So if I were to get into a Miata, I get to have the best of both worlds in terms of having a DSG and also the RF. Unfortunately, I won't be able to keep 2 cars. It's just not financially smart. So if I were to go ahead and jump into this pre-order and keep it and pick up the car, I would have to go ahead and sell the R, and that's something that I'm afraid I might regret. Not because I would regret selling it, but I could always jump into another 7.5 or even Mark 7 again in the future if I were to decide to do so, if I decided that the Miata is not right for me. But another reason is the practicality, but I think I'm jumping the gun here. Let's go ahead and stick with the pros first. The amenities on the MX-5. The MX-5 right now compared to S2K is leaps and bounds ahead, years ahead of the S2000, obviously, because S2K was, my model year was a 2004 AP2. But if you look at it, LED headlights, That's something that the R doesn't even have because I have a Mark 7. I'm still running the bi-xenons. It's still plenty bright for me, but LED headlights would be nice to have. Also, it has LED fogs, LED taillights, which I do have in the R, but it was kind of after. It was OEM aftermarket. Adaptive front lighting system. The R still has high beam control. I'm not sure high beam control means auto high beam control, or is it because or is it if it's manual. But everything that you have here makes me feel like I'm not upgrading, but more of at least it's not downgrading, right? The thing that the Mazda, the MX-5 is missing will be the lane, not the lane departure, I'm sorry, because it does include lane departure warning here. What's missing is the adaptive cruise control and also the dynamic chassis control. But since this is a sports car, it's not gonna have comfort mode or anything, so I could live with that. The cruise control or automated cruise control, auto stop and go, is something that I like having, and it was really impressive in initially, but it's something that I don't use daily because of my short commute. I definitely will use it if I go on a longer road trip, and I have used it. It's just something that I won't be missing out on a daily commute. I mean, it's a small car. It still comes with automated HVAC, right? Push button, tilt telescoping steering wheel. That's another thing with the ND2. Something that the S2000 doesn't have. I feel like I won't be missing out if I were to go from the R to the Miata. So moving on, I mentioned before the new red line at 7.5. Something that brings me back to the S2K. Not closely. A lot of S2K and S2000 enthusiasts will go ahead and say the Miata will never be as raw or a driving experience as the S2000. I will have to go ahead and drive the Miata first for me to confirm it, but definitely the S2K spun out on second gear for me if I were to do a hard acceleration, so it definitely was a driver's car. And one of the main points, or one of the last points I want to go ahead and point out would be the color itself. The racing orange is something that to this day I probably won't get tired of. It's going to be eye-attracting, eye-catching, and it probably will attract unwanted attention, but I always like this type of orange, especially another color which brings me back was the hyper blue color. It was non-metallic, it was flat, it was bright, it was something that attracted me and also almost made me trade in my Mark 6 for the hyper blue STI. So this kind of color reminds me of brighter colors like that, but more affordable and more attainable. But we're going to go ahead and touch up on the cons of the vehicle. I mentioned something about restarting prior to a few minutes ago. Restarting means restarting content, I guess I would like to say. Restarting the modifications. Again, it's a collector's vehicle. I'm not going to do any type of modding other than maybe a catback or exhaust system to liven up the exhaust note. Other than that, it's going to be definitely paint protection film. I've done paint protection film by myself in the Mark 6, and also I'm pretty comfortable at it, so I went ahead and did it for my dad's car. I skipped out on it for the Mark 7 because it was a CPO vehicle, and because it's a CPO vehicle, the previous owner already took it on the highways and had a bit of rock chips on the hood, so I decided to go ahead and skip out on that. Looking at this, I would say it's missing the appearance package. I wish Mazda would have thrown it in, but you got your front splitter that's missing. If you take a look here, the appearance package is additional $1,500 or $1,600. It comes with the front air dam or the front splitter, side skirts, the rear diffuser, and also the rear lip spoiler. So looking at the Mazda, I definitely agree that it's missing that part. I think it should have came stock. Another main factor would be practicality. Right now, as you all know, I'm driving a hot hatch, and it's all arounder, all season, winter. If I were to do a last minute pickup Costco run, I might kind of overshoot it with driving a Miata. I might underestimate what I bring or what I need to get. So that becomes a problem if I have a passenger with me. I can't put any type of thing, I can't put anything in the front. Another thing will be, I mentioned prior to this, I mentioned content. This YouTube channel is something that I do as a side hustle, something that I spend a lot of energy on, a lot of time editing, and I try my best every day to learn more in terms of editing and filming. I don't think with this Miata, I don't think I'm gonna get much content over it or with it because of the fact that I want to keep it stock. I mean, other than that, it's going to be my daily driver. It's going to replace the R. Let me know. Thank you for watching again and subscribing. Take care.
All I gotta do is put my mind to this shit.